What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, tomorrow, yesterday, whatever. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Unpopular Opinions Live. This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, here live in Accra, Ghana, with a live stream. I want to give a big shout out to the customers of the Afrikansuperstar.com. Also, big shout outs to our members only who are designated by the circle next to their name. And also our African superstar music lovers. Got some important news for you guys. First of all, my most recent official music video is here on the channel. Come chill with me. We actually were on the radio on Friday here in Accra. Went to Unique FM, which is 95.7, to promote the Come Chill With Me track. And we had a lovely interview. I'm trying to prepare some clips of that for the channel. And we also shot my new project, which is actually a freestyle. I got a freestyle coming out. It's called One and Only. And so we actually shot that project on Friday following the interview. So I was accompanied by security, by Oath Keepers. They are a security company here, and they also featured in my project. So I'm very excited and grateful to that. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, because your girl is on the move. I'm doing things. I'm not one of these that always got to be talking about everything that's going on, but I'm always on task. So big shout outs to you guys. Make sure if you're here in the room, drop me something so I can greet you. Today's topic is you can overcome depression by achieving goals. Yes. So I want to talk about this. This is obviously an unpopular opinion because, first of all, depression is treated like it's kind of like a terminal illness, which I personally disagree with that. Depression is a state of mind that you may be in because of circumstances. And the number one way to target depression is by eliminating the things that's creating that depression. A lot of times we know that we have potential. We know that we may, we should be in a different position in life, or sometimes we've made poor decisions or we've missed opportunities that have caused us to be where we are. And all of those things culminated, create the depression. Okay, because you know that you're not where you should be. You're not performing to your highest potential. Maybe your appearance is not what you want, like you've let your weight go or things like that. And these things is what is causing depression. Certainly, like I said, you will have seasons. You might have a bad day, a bad week, a bad month. You might be going through a divorce, or you've had a job loss, or you're having a lot of issues with your business, or whatever game plan you have is not working, as you want it. And again, this is causing depression. But what I've personally found, first of all, I can't say that depression is a huge part of my life. The reason why is because I'm constantly driving at goals. Constantly driving at goals. You would be hard pressed to ever catch me and I don't have something that I'm working towards. I found that, probably I'd say about 10 years ago, starting regular goals, both short and long term, it creates a lot of depth to your life because you always have something to look forward for. It's just kind of like if you take a vacation, you're planning on taking a vacation. What's up, guys? If you're here, say good morning in the chat room so I know that you guys are here. Can you hear me? I should have asked that first. Can you guys hear me? Hope so. I'll wait for some correspondence in the chat room. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me because before I really get into this conversation. Big shout outs, guys. Can you hear me? Hello? Is anybody there? Hello? Can you guys hear me? It says we have 5 of you in the chat room, but I don't see anything. All right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Joseph King. I can always count on you. Thank you so much. Man, these spectators is, woo! They can't even say, yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Mr. Joseph King. So I realized, like I said, I was talking about regularly setting goals. This is my personal pro tip to fighting depression or overcoming depression. When you have things to look forward to, it always gives you, that bright outlook, or it gives you the motivation. It gives you, the desire to do and accomplish the things that you want to do because you have something on your roster. So I was giving an example of taking a holiday or taking a vacation. Prior to me leaving the US, I used to always set a goal to travel internationally on my birthday, which is June 26th, for any of you guys that don't know. And that was like my thing. So, I would typically start planning it in like December of the year prior because, international trips, they can be expensive and things like that. So I would plan that, and that would be like my fitness goals. That would be like my financial goals. I would just be really looking forward to it. I would be excited. That's a good example of like a short-term goal. You can even set fitness goals, maybe not necessarily losing the weight, or you can do that if you're good with that, but it could be something as simple as I want to go to the gym 3 times this week. I want to do a fitness walk 3 times this week or 4 times this week. Okay. Or you could do the typical, I want to lose 10 pounds this month. Now, be mindful. You need to set reasonable goals based on your own, tenacity, based on what you are willing and capable of doing. So I'd say if you know that, you're a busy person and, your schedule fluctuates and blah, 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 then you need to add that in. You can also start, small goals and increase it. So let's say you're busy like Mr. Joseph King. All right. You're busy and, you make your fitness goal twice a week. Okay. So I'm going to strive to get to the gym at least 2 times this week. Now he finds that it was easy. Wow. I did those 2 days without anything. Now he feels like, okay, I can add, 3 or 4 days because I'm able to do it. But that way, if you have limited time, 2 days is pretty achievable. It's probably pretty achievable. And what all this does, guys, I'm giving you guys examples, but what this does is it builds your confidence in yourself. It makes you feel really good when you've set the goals and you've achieved them. I think that in our society, they make a big deal about depression because when you are in depression, you're very vulnerable and you become kind of like the consummate consumer. You're always looking for the solution. You might be taking medicines. You might be going to therapy. You're doing all these things that treat depression as if it's perpetual. And in my opinion, it's not. You can overcome depression by achieving your goals. Okay. Now I would say when I obviously lived in the West, I was way more unhappier overall across the board with many facets of my life. Okay. And that's part of the reason I moved to the continent was because I determined that, okay, if I move to the continent, I'm able to resolve several of my grievances. Okay. So it's no mystery why me living in Ghana is better for me. It's no mystery why my demeanor is better, why my appearance is better, why I'm happier, why I'm more relaxed, because I pinpointed the problems and sought to solve the problems. So I believe that by achieving goals, whatever goals those are that you need to set, you can overcome depression. I don't know anybody who has like a goal in mind that when they achieve it, they're not happy and excited. I don't know anybody that's like, oh my God, finally I graduated from school after all this time. Oh my God, I got married to the person who I love. I completed this project. I started the business. I wrote the book. I don't know anybody who is displeased with achieving the goal. Now I know contrarily, I know thousands of people that are unhappy because they're not achieving their goals. They're not where they need to be. And it's the bottom line is, are you going to measure up? Okay. If you're depressed, that means that you have potential and you recognize that you have potential and you're not living up to it. You know, you're not living up to your potential. You know that you should be doing better and you're not. Okay. Praying, hoping, wishing, waiting, all these things is not going to solve your depression. The only thing that's going to solve your depression is eliminating the source of that depression. If, for instance, you're in a relationship, okay, and you feel that, the relationship is unhappy. I'm sorry, I'm stuffy. We're having like rainy season here, and it's killing me. It's killing me. It's killing me. Um, for instance, you have this bad, unhealthy relationship, okay, and you feel very hopeless. You're just like, okay, I've tried to fix things. It's not working out with this person. The answer is, you know what the answer is. You know what the answer is. Whatever is sourcing that depression, guys, and we have an intuition. We have an intuition about what is causing the depression. Is it our job? Is it that negative friend? Is it that unhealthy relationship? Is it our appearance? Is it the fact that we don't want to answer the call that we hear on our life? You're supposed to be a teacher, but instead you are, working in an office somewhere. And every day you get up and you dread going into the office. Why do you feel that way? Well, because it's not where you're supposed to be. Okay. You live in a cold climate. You live in a wintry climate. And you light up when you're in a more tropical setting or a warmer setting. I know it's not popular, and that's why this is an unpopular opinion. Okay. It's not popular to strive to solve your problems. It's not popular to identify what is causing you stress and what is causing you the issues, and actually hone in on that. But that's the answer, guys. That is the answer. That will help you overcome your depression. For all my Black people out there, a source, of stress for me living in the West was racial tensions. Racial tensions put me into um, a very deep and consistent anger when things would happen to me that was like beyond my control. I think that was probably like the biggest void in my life that I have solved by moving to the continent, because it's something I no longer have to deal with on a daily basis. I don't even think about race relations here in Ghana. When I go out, it's not like, oh, I'm getting bad service because I'm a Black person. Oh, I'm, getting profiled, or, people are looking at me negatively or minimalizing me because of my race. I have eliminated that by living here on a daily basis. You see, and this is all I really want to share with the audience. Big shout outs, guys, if you're here. I'm coming to do shout outs. So I see you guys coming into the chat room. Big shout outs to you guys. Big shout outs to our members only. Okay. I want you guys to know that a lot of the things that you encounter, first of all, I've also encountered a lot of the things that you've encountered. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. But number two, it's not what you were born and made for. Okay. You're not born and made to live perpetually in struggle your whole life. No. If you do struggle, if you do, kind of sit down a bit, it should be a transitional thing to get from point A to point B. But this whole like concept that, life is just going to be so hard and it's always like this. I disagree with that. I believe that, you may put your head down to achieve goals, but you should eventually arrive. And I don't believe that you should just be in depression your whole life. You know what I'm saying? I believe that you should exert some effort to solve it. You know, whatever that is, whatever it is. Because guys, whatever you're dealing with, trust me, there is a solution. There is an alternative. You've got to know that. The solution may not be conventional. I mean, hell, you may not even know how to solve the problems. But if you start on the journey of solving the problems, first of all, identifying the problems and then putting effort into solving the problems, you will get there. When I first realized that I had an issue with like things just being the way they are, because obviously that's the attitude to Black people in the world is, you know, nobody really listens to our cries and nobody really cares about our problems or our quality of life. And this is just how it is. You know, if you live in America, these are things that go along with you living in America. Okay, this is how it's going to be. And people will even tell you, even as you're born and raised as an American citizen, pay taxes, none of that stuff really matters. Your blue passport, none of that really matters. They will tell you, as a Black American, Indian American, Mexican, if you don't like the way you're being treated in these environments, you can go home, talking about your countries of origins. Okay? So they're already telling you, hey, we don't care about your grievances. I realized I had a problem with that whole concept of I'm going to be mistreated, I'm going to be unhappy, I'm going to be minimalized, I'm going to be disrespected. This is how it is, and I just have to take it. I disagreed with that whole thing. And as I started the journey of trying to solve it, you know, the first action I took obviously was the political route. Okay, so when I was in university, they were like doing petitions and, you know, I joined the local NAACP. And then I realized, wait a minute, there's no results with this stuff. Okay, this is busy work to make us feel like we're doing something. But when it comes to enacting real change, there's all this like bureaucracy. Okay, so then after that, I began traveling. I thought, well, maybe it's different in different places. So I began to travel across the US, and I went to Chicago, and I went to New York, and I went to Atlanta, and I went to Miami, and I went to Texas, you know, and I saw, wow, this is happening around America. So then I said, okay, let me go international. And then I got to know about some of the issues that, you know, the Afro Latinos are having in Mexico. And I got to know about some of the things that go on in Europe. Okay. Then Asia, then the Middle East. You know, I didn't travel to the Middle East and Asia, but I learned about basically the dichotomy of things that are going on with our people all around the world. And then I traveled to the continent. And I realized, wow, this is my safe haven. This is my refuge. Where first and foremost, I do not have to apologize for being Black. I don't have to explain, you know? And by beginning the journey of solving one of the biggest problems in my life, that mind you wasn't my problem, okay? It was an external problem. It wasn't a problem I had. It wasn't anything I was doing or anything I had caused. I still sought to solve it in some way. And by taking that same methodology to other aspects of my life, okay, maybe your problem is financial, okay? You just can't get your money right. You just can't figure it out. By solving that problem, figuring out that problem, okay, you can eliminate the depression and the stress that you're having surrounding that. I know a lot of people, especially in the West, you know, obesity is out of control in America. Okay, people are not taking care of themselves, both physically and psychologically. It's causing a lot of problems. Why don't you take care of that? And you've also got to know that your problems are your responsibility, guys. I just got to talk frank to you. Okay? Other people don't care, and it's not their fault they don't care. They have their own plate. Okay? They have their own problems, they have their own family, they have their own needs and everything else. We can't look to other people to be focused on our problems. We have to put our energy on our problems. And not just talking about it, okay? Actually working it out, figuring out, okay, how can I get this outcome? How can I change this? How can I do that? A lot of people's financial problems is living beyond their means. I can tell you that right now. You know, the mortgage is too expensive. You have too many credit cards. The car note is too high. You know, just because maybe the bank gave you the loan or they approved it doesn't mean that you can maintain it. You know, and guess what? Guess what? If, for instance, your rent is, let's say, $2,000 a month, okay, for some of you guys in the big cities, New York, LA, Atlanta. I don't really know the rents. I know the rents are going up all across America, also, in the UK. Let's say your rent is $2,000 pounds a month. All right. And every month it's like stressing because it's taking up a lot of your income. And you want to do other things. You want to start the business, you want to travel, you want to invest. But because all this money is constantly going out, but yeah, you like the penthouse. Yeah, you like living in that tower. You like living in that story building or this particular neighborhood. It makes you feel good. You like it. People look at you like, wow, you know, he lives there, she lives there. Listen, downgrading to something that is better, more flexible in your budget is going to solve and eliminate that particular problem. And when that happens, there's a relief of pressure, okay, that takes place. And then it also rejuvenates your possibilities because it's like, okay, let's say you cut that in half somehow. Let's say when your lease is up, you say, okay, I'm moving. Just like Afrikansuperstar said, I'm going to take a less expensive place. Okay. Now you have an apartment, a flat that costs you $1,000 a month or £1,000. Now you've opened up £1,000 or dollars in your monthly budget to do what you want to do. Now you can take weekend trips, to New York. You can go to Paris, for the weekend. You can, start saving and putting into the business fund. You can, and I live, for instance, a nomadic life. I live a robust nomadic life. Now I do have, a base here in Ghana, but when I go out, to the US or the UK, I'm living nomadic. Okay, no car, no mortgage, no rent, consistently. But that also means I don't have to go to work every day. That also means that I get to live between, several countries at a time, most notably the UK and Ghana. That means that I can have the freedom and space, to do other things. When I had to be at work every single day, there was no time for the mind to play and wander and things like that. I also travel, more than most people I know in a year. I'm not bound by schedules and this and that and the other. When I need to go somewhere, I just pick out a date that works for me and goes. You see, solving the root cause of your problem will help you eliminate the depression. On Friday, when I went to the radio station, I was so impressed with myself. I thought to myself, wow, it was less than a year I recorded my first song. And here I am back, invited back to the radio station less than a year later to talk about my, fourth official music video. You know, it's gratifying to achieve your goals, guys. you know, and understanding that you're the one that can find the solutions to your own problems is powerful. It's powerful. That means that your life is not up to chance. That means it's going to be what you say it's going to be. It's going to be what you decide it's going to be. You know, you create the vision, you drive at the vision, you refuse to be derailed by obstacles and things like that. If anything happens, you just simply look at it as a setback and you say it's a delay, and you keep going and going and going and going and going and going until you eventually achieve it. And quite frankly, the more obstacles you face when you're en route to your goals makes it so sweet when you get it. You know, big shout outs to Afrikansuperstar. Okay, I'm coming to give shout outs. So I hope you guys have left me something in the chat. Okay, make sure you like the stream as well, guys. What's up? What's up? Mr. Joseph King is in the building. Jarena Star is here. I see you there, sweetie. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys like the topic, because this is unpopular opinion. Society we live in today is not going to tell you to solve your problems. Society is only going to tell you to medicate your problems, okay? Or give you superficial solutions that's not going to really fix it. Okay, so I was getting into the issue of appearance right now, okay? So let me delve into this. So I saw this story this morning when I was doing some reading. I typically read some articles and things like that in the morning. So I was reading this article about a man who was suing his ex-wife because his ex-wife had cosmetic surgery. Okay. And apparently, you know, they had 2 children together. And I don't know when exactly the woman told the man that she had had cosmetic surgery, but obviously the man was very upset because of the children, because of the appearance of the children. And I know there was this article that was going around about a Chinese family, but this is a different family. There was actual, you know, looked like some white people on a court show or something like that. And society seems to have this obsession with the appearance, okay? Most notably right now, they are promoting cosmetic surgeries, you know, body augmentation and all this kind of stuff, which just in the example I've given you is superficial, okay? You can go and do all those things, but if underneath, you know, you can't change your genes. So you've done all this, and maybe you've attracted a partner, but you can't really maintain that. The better solution and what they won't promote you to do is to invest in yourself. And I'm not talking about cosmetic surgery. I'm talking about mental well-being, you know, maybe your fitness, your eating, you know, all of that. That is what makes you a powerful individual. That's what makes you complete and whole, you know. And you, if you're embarking on, like, for instance, a long-term relationship with someone, that's important for that person to know that side of you, not just how you look in your appearance. Because the man told the judge, I married her simply because she was beautiful. So there must have been no connection for him. There must have been like no, you know, deeper love or anything, because he found out she was not who she looked like she was, and he was ready to leave her and the children. So in my opinion, I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose. If you're going to do cosmetic surgery, but, you know, the person or people you're dealing with now, they wouldn't even be caught dead with you as you were, you know. And you see people that are doing, for instance, cosmetic surgery, and you see that they're talking about how they have all these psychological issues. Well, basically their body has changed, their appearance has changed, but their mind has not changed. So, you know, you'll see these people and they'll be talking about how they still see a fat person in the mirror, or, you know, they still feel unattractive and all this stuff after they have done this surgery, or, you know, they're really they're really offended by the fact that now that they look more physically attractive, people that wouldn't have associated with them previously will now do it. You see, you've got to attack the root cause. You know, if you attack the root cause, everything else is additional. You know, there's a reason why on this channel I'm just so real. I'm just a real deal Gina. You know, you're going to see me with various hairstyles. You might even see me with my headscarf on sometimes. You're going to see me with makeup, without makeup. You're going to see me in and out the house. You know, I'm showing the diversity of my life because that's real. If all you ever see is the made up version, you know, the dolled up version, the glam version, you know, you won't have any concept of who the real is. And I'm very confident in who I am in general. So it's not compulsory that I present one side to the world. You know, I'm multidimensional, and that's okay. But I want to help, you know, whomever finds this video because, you know, depression, it's not a chronic illness. It doesn't have to be. When you start achieving your goals, you start overcoming depression because you feel like you're measuring up. You feel like you're living as you should. You feel like you are where you want to be in life. You know, you're confident in your appearance. You know, you're confident in the product you provide or whatever you're doing. And it eliminates the depression. You know, instead of depression, there's happiness, there's satisfaction, there's gratification because you are achieving. And society won't tell you this because they know to have an unstable individual is great for consumerism. They can convince you to do this and convince you to do that and believe in this and buy that because there's voids within. But when you recognize that you're whole and complete and everything else that you do is, you know, voluntary, it's different. You know, you already know, okay, if I buy that, you know, $250,000 car, you know, it's just like a Honda. It's got the same function. Whether or not I have a cracked phone, look at my cracked phone, guys. Can y'all see the cracks? Look at the cracks. It's crazy. You know, whether or not I have the cracked phone or I have the iPhone 14X Pro, you know, whatever, it's all good. You know, still gonna live, still gonna survive. I don't need that's why society's not gonna help you figure these things out because they want you to be in that compromised state so that they can continue to market to you and things like that. You know, this is my personal pro tip towards depression. Big shout outs, guys. Okay. Afriscope TV, I see you there. What's up, family? Okay, I'm going to briefly open up the call lines for you. If anybody has anything to add, you got like 2 minutes to get in here and stay on the topic. But yeah, this is my pro tip. You know, because I think my peers need help with it. You know, I really think my peers need help with how to solve their problems. And how to solve your problems is solving your problems. You know, if you're like me, you're able to determine what you need and what you want. You're able to figure that out. And by creating that, you solve the problems. And depression is you know, when I'm here in Ghana and I'm realizing my dreams and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Some of you guys have been watching me for years and seeing the transition and seeing how everything went. Even you guys are excited for me to see me achieve goals. All the more I'm excited because I'm like, yeah, exactly what I said I was going to do. I did it. you know? And even when you're having moments of doubt, you see, when you live like that, when you live with that kind of outlook on the world, even when you're having moments of doubt, you look at your own track record, okay? Your own track record will be insurance for you because you can go back and say, you know what? I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And you know what? I was facing this and this and this. I had a lot of challenges, but I was able to do that. So if I was able to do that, I can do this, I can do more. You know, and you'll even build your own self up in those low moments. You'll be able to elevate your own self because of your track record. So what I'm telling you from this point is, all right, if you are someone who has a lot of depression or dissatisfaction in your life, okay, you can turn that around by setting goals for yourself and achieving those goals. There's a reason and source for your depression. Now, let me also say this because I know this is also very relevant to modern times. If your depression comes from perhaps like your past, okay, I know there are some people that are dealing with like really challenging home situations or, you know, molestation, abuse in their past, and that definitely will have an impact on you. The first thing you need to do is you need to make peace with that situation. I'm not going to tell you to forgive people because, you know, I'm not big on that. But what you need to understand is the way that people are interacting with you has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So let's say you were a child, all right, and you know, a family member or something like that was molesting you. Okay. Obviously, it's going to make you have really strong feelings. It's going to kind of change your perception of the world. It might even impact the kind of relationships you have with the opposite sex or, you know, whomever was maybe your abuser. You might look at yourself and say, why did this happen to me? You know, what did I do to bring this on or whatever? You've got to know that, quite frankly, that had everything to do with that individual. Even if you were not there probably would have been another victim in your place because the way people interact and treat you has everything to do with how they see themselves and their own particular issues. You need to release the responsibility of that situation onto that individual. That's how you cope with, you know, if your depression is stemming from the past. You know, you got bullied and you know, you went through this, they left you, you know, you were unfairly sacked from your job. Listen, you've got to release all of that. You know, for instance, this year I've been through a lot. I've experienced a lot of abandonment in this particular year from several people in my circles, very close to me, family and friends. Okay. But my attitude is that that's not sourcing from me. You know, I don't want to take on the responsibility of something that's not my responsibility. My responsibility is Gina and the decisions that Gina makes and the path that Gina has created, walking that. That's all that I can take responsibility for. Anything else is not about me. It's about them. You know, they dogged you out, they lied on you, they mistreated you, they cheated, they abandoned. It's not you, fam. It's not you, especially if, you know, you were up for reconciliation, you were reasonable, you were mature. You know, the outcome could have been different, but it's about them. And that's the path they chose. You know, don't be depressed about someone who's not thinking about you. You know, they're not waking up day and night thinking about you, crying themselves to sleep, thinking about the things that they've done to you and this and that. Them people, I mean, they move on and you're not even a forethought in their lives. So they should not remain a forethought in your life. You know, when people dog you out, what you should do is shine even brighter. Okay, that's what you should do to respond to that. They'll see you when you, how many people can't see the sun? How many people can't see the sun? Okay. I don't care if you're in Japan, if you're in Bermuda, or if you're in Mexico. When the sun is shining, people see you all around the world. What that means is elevation is the answer a lot of times. Elevation will be the closure that you need. Some people disrespect you because they feel like you're just stagnant and you're always going to be down and you're never going to get up. When you start getting up, you'd be amazed how people start flocking to you. They become curious. They're like, oh, well, you know, people used to talk to me like I'm crazy when I was talking my African plans and stuff like that. They used to act like I was insane. Now I'm the standard. Subject matter expert, SME. People want to know stuff about Ghana. I'm the one they get, they call. I'm the one they reach out to. You see, the tables can turn. It's all under your control. Solve your own depression by solving your own problems. You'll be amazed. Even if, like, let's say you commit to this mentality for 6 good months. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to focus on, you give yourself like 2 or 3 goals. You got a fitness goal. You got a financial goal. You got your, business goal or your African plan or whatever. I'm telling you, the energy right now you're harnessing about this and that and the other, go ahead. You're in bed, you can't get up, you're immobilized, you're just like, I just can't, just get up and go for that walk. You know that fitness is a great way to really regulate your life. Okay, maybe you're not a gym rat. Maybe you don't want to get up and, hit the irons. Go for a bike ride. Take a walk. Buy a pet so every day you got to take the dog out for a walk or whatever. Okay? Do the stairs at your job on your break. Go up 1, 2 flights of steps or whatever. You're going to feel better. You start like that. Then you start taking time, sitting down with yourself, your finances. Okay, you realize, yeah, I'm spending 2,000 pounds on this place. I'm going to move and get myself a less expensive place, and bank that money or use that money for more leisure time or whatever. I'm going to teach myself a new skill. You start a new skill. At first, you don't have a command of it, and eventually you get better. That will give you gratification. You start knitting. At first, you can't figure it out. By December time, you've learned how to, sew a scarf. You give your family and friends, little knitted gifts for Christmas or whatever. You see, these are things you can do. Solve your own problems and overcome your own depression. This is a pro tip from somebody who, this is how I live. This is the life I live. You won't hear me say I'm depressed. If anything, I might be having a day. But again, solving my problems makes me overcome the depression. I might get frustrated. Okay, my plans are not going according to plan, whatever. But once I get it achieved, once I go back to the drawing board and hit it again, so big shout outs, guys. Thanks for listening to me today. You guys must have just been riveted by the conversation. But I hope that it was meaningful and helpful to anybody who finds this advice. I would like for you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not, and make sure that you like the videos, because I'm all solutions oriented on this channel. I don't believe in just keep crying about your problems. I believe in solving them, and therefore you can live a better quality life. If you eliminate a problem, that's some people are crying about problems legit they've been dealing with for like years. The solution is right there. Solution is right there. Now you're depressed because you cry about your problems and nobody listens. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You will meet people along the way that have your best interest in mind, but nobody's going to pick you up and carry you. Once you grow beyond your infant years, that's over. Okay? Even as a young child, your parents start delegating responsibility to you. Hey, take the trash out. They give you a house key. Don't lose this. They might send you to pay. You know, back in the days, they used to send us to pay bills. I don't know if y'all still do that with the kids. Everything's online now, but we used to have to go pay the electric bill. You know, go take it to the office down there and get me a receipt. Go take this to the post office. Go send this letter. You know, blah blah blah. You know, once you get to a certain age, people start delegating responsibility to you. When you're an adult, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. There are even people with mental problems and disabilities that are very independent and getting out there and trying to live their life. So all the more you know, a capable, educated individual, you know, you can do more than what you're doing. And until you do, you're going to be engulfed in this depression that everybody talks about. Yeah. Yeah. And when you're really intellectual and you start realizing, okay, some other issues are impacting you and creating problems on your life, you'll even be ready to change those too. Yeah, you'll be ready to change it. I tell you, between the racism and the climate in the West, I was just like, I'm not doing this. You know, I'm not doing this. I'm going to even get so drastic that I'm going to change, you know, my climate and my environment. I'm going to change it to something that suits me. You know? And by doing that, guys, I mean, honestly, I really, it's the reason I can't give up Ghana for any person or thing. It really is. You know, I can't give it up because it's such a place of solace for me. Even if other people don't understand, it's a fit for me. It's a problem. So it's the solution to so many of my problems at one time. You know, and maybe for some of you guys that, you know, obviously I'm versed in this now. I've been doing this now, you know, for a minute. But for some of you people that you just can't, you know, you really struggle to simplify life, then sit down, do it old school. Get a piece of paper, okay? Get a pen and start mapping out what am I unhappy with in my life. Just pour it out. Okay? What are the things that frustrate me? And when you start identifying those areas, from there, you start strategizing the solutions for each one of those things. You know, and I guarantee you, as you begin to, you know, tick things off, and it's good to have a mix of short and long-term goals, guys. Okay, short and long-term. Because if you have a long-term goal and you are not a very resilient person, you know, it might be more difficult for you to just be on the long path without having little enjoyments along the way. You know, set some pleasurable enjoyments for yourself. For some of you guys that neglect yourself, for instance, ladies, you know, you don't know the last time you went to the nail salon. You don't know the last time you had a massage. You don't know the last time you had your hair done, or, you know, something like that. Then you add those in. Okay, I'm gonna go to get a massage once a month, or, you know, something like that. Okay, and that's on your short-term goal list too. That's something that you must do. You know, some of you guys, it's on the go. Maybe you don't cook very much. I'm going to try to cook, you know, at least 3 meals this week. I'll start with that. And I'm going to sit down to a nice glass of wine, you know, once a week, and listen to some music. You know, add some enjoyment back into your life. You know, do more of the things that you love. Make it a priority. You know, at this my tender age, taking care of myself is a priority. Okay, fitness is one of my very top priorities. Less stress is very top. Okay, which means I need to, sleep more. I need to, be about my beautification. I need to, have a very robust life. Okay, social, romantic. I need good friends around me. All those things are priority for me. I do have some long-term goals, but most, quite frankly, at this point, because I've achieved a lot of my uh, more grand, goals, a lot of my goals are short-term, you know, things that I want to do between, I'd say, now and the next year. A lot of my goals are like that because also looking at the world we're living in, we don't know what the landscape is. It's a lot different than as we were growing up. Things didn't fluctuate as much as they have started doing in the last few years. So, when I think of, the 10-year plan, it's very difficult to strategize that because things are changing so rapidly. So at this point, I'm liking to do short-term goals, but that's because I've achieved my larger goals. Some of you guys, you need to tackle your big goals before you can kind of get to the stage that I'm in. Because those things I've done them. You know what I mean? I've already done them. I'm not talking for 10 years about moving to Africa. No, I did it in 2. I made the decision 2018. Okay, let's go ahead and take it to the continent. In 2020, I was here. So, start striving, and I don't occupy myself with extraneous things. I don't take on other people's problems, and I just don't invest my energy in that. All my energy is on Gina. Seriously. And it takes all that energy to be very productive. In less than a year, I'm going full steam ahead with my music, and that's because I'm not diversifying the focus. I'm not diversifying the focus. I've even used music as an avenue to help me cope and heal from difficult situations. The breakup I had earlier this year. But at the same time, I still was on task. I still was like, okay, let's use this as an outlet and then keep going on. So that's my message today. You guys were riveted, I see. Absolutely riveted by me in the conversation. Well, I hope that it was meaningful. I want to help you guys turn the corner. Every day we're growing, every day we're aging. You need to really, 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 really be super focused on what you're trying to do nowadays. Really. I learned probably a couple weeks ago about a Facebook friend of mine that I used to interact with, a young man in London. And, he had shared with me some of his things that he wanted to do, like get married and have a child and stuff like that. And very sadly, the other day I saw on his Facebook, it was like, we regret to inform you that he's passed away. And I was like, what? So I reached out to a mutual friend. I said, what happened what happened then? And he said he passed away in his sleep. They found him in his sleep. 30 years old. Certainly he never envisioned that was the end of his story. The last time I spoke to him was in around, March, April, when I was looking for an artist to do my UK to Ghana song with. I reached out to him because he's into music. He plays the piano and stuff like that. So I said, oh, do you know any rappers I could collab with? And, at that point, I don't even think he had his 30th birthday yet. And he was telling me he was looking forward to his birthday and, this and that. And I'm like, wow. And I constantly try to live in that space. I'm going to say this and wrap up. I constantly try to live in the space of I have limited time. Okay. And I want to accomplish these things, period. Right now, my goal is to get the music out. I got 10 recorded tracks. 5 of the tracks is out. I want to bring out the other tracks. I want to shoot the rest of my music videos. I want to drop the EP. That's my focus. That's what I'm on. And you live in that space. You compel yourself to high performance because you know you can do it. then you get high performance. You get high performance. You say, I know I can do this. And you do it. So family, that's all for now. Once again, big shout outs to the customers of the Afrikansuperstar.com. Big shout outs to all my viewers today. I hope you guys like the stream. You know, unpopular opinion. Depression doesn't have to be an ongoing thing. All right. Hone in on the problems, seek to solve those problems, and you will eliminate your depression. You know, when you feel down, you look at your capabilities, especially when you have a track record. You know, that's the beauty. Once you start achieving your problems, you give yourself more confidence to achieve more problems. Because you're like, I did it last time. I could do it again. You know, once I moved from America to the UK, I know at this point I can move anywhere around the world I'd like. Because I already know I got the methodology. I know exactly what to do. You know, I'm not scared. I'm not intimidated. I've done it before. I can look back at both of my migrations and there's success there. You know? So thanks for your time on this Sunday morning here in Ghana. It's raining again. It's been raining all weekend. With this crazy rainy season. I hope it's over soon. It's got me stuffy and everything. So anyway, I hope you guys are going to be well, and I hope that, again, this was meaningful. Please do apply it. You'll be better off. Take it from me. Okay? Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.